what we have to understand about consciousness is that it is evolutionary in nature and that it is creative. And so there's really no limit to what consciousness can evolve into because that's God. God is infinite consciousness, and there's no limit to God. So human consciousness is part of the divinity. And so there's really no limit to what man's consciousness can become. But the thing that's really before us to do and to see and to realize is that man's consciousness is evolutionary, is creative, because this is the point where, as we realize that consciousness is creative, this is a point where we can really begin to exercise our high calling, and we can see it tangibly reflected in our creative environment, in our own lives and in the environment around us. Um, Adam created the Garden of Eden through his state of consciousness, um, through his original awakening to consciousness. It was very pure and innocent. And that reflection came back to him as an environmental uh, uh, situation that was amazing, according to the Bible. And then, however, he awoke to a state of consciousness that was much more complex. And it included the dualism of mind, and it included many aspects of human life that we now take for granted. Um, but the problem with awakening to this state of consciousness, and this was an evolutionary state, so it was uh, it was a necessary step for humankind. But the problem that we are now dealing with is that this state of consciousness that Adam came into uh, is creative and has created the world that we now live in. And we see this world around us as being, unfortunately, uh, having many qualities that do not reflect our high calling. They are um, problematic. They are difficult. Um, and so we look at the world we've created through the state of consciousness of Adam, and we have to understand that because consciousness is creative, we have the power to change the world. And not just consciousness doesn't create by sitting down and saying, well, now I'm going to change this or that. Consciousness it creates a reflection of itself. So, and it is not mocked. It always creates a true reflection of itself. So when we look at our world, we see that the state of consciousness that created it is a lower evolutionary state, and that dualities such as darkness and light and heat and cold and love and hate, all of these dualities that we take for granted and we have based our lives on, these are part of a lower state of consciousness reflecting back at us. And we see it in the actual environment too. We see night and day. We see uh, just a planetary response to human consciousness that is difficult and that has made life difficult for us. But we also have the power to change the environment, and simply by changing our state of consciousness.